most of the time banks are kind of using your money, but there's one strategy where you can use banks' money without paying them. And it's that when we have credit cards that are brand new, you charge something today, you have 30 days before you have to pay that off or have any interest that's charged.
Yeah.
Right? At the same time, if you have a line of credit, like on a home or something, you can take your income and rather than, just pay cash for things, you could pay down that line of credit, charge everything on a card, and then pay off the card from the home equity line. So that way you're not paying interest for that 30 days. You're kind of floating the bank's money. Money can be complicated. Let a nerd help you. We're here to demystify the complex nature of money by getting you answers from financial nerds and whiz kids. Welcome to Ask the Money Nerds, a weekly segment of the Wealth Labs podcast where we answer your most pressing money questions. Do you feel like you have too much income going to pay for your loans and not enough left over to have a quality of life or actually have anything to invest? You want to hit me in the throat every time I talk about investing? What can you do to escape the debt trap without having to sacrifice your life away? Right? How can you get out of the hole and get on track right away rather than taking years and even risking bankruptcy? Do you do debt consolidation or what other options are out there? I think I've got some solutions. Chief of Staff, Stolva. What up?
Stolva.
Yeah, that sounds like Romanian or something.
It actually used to be spelled with a V and not a B.
You got it. I got in trouble for letting people know how it was spelled. I didn't know I was going to be in trouble for that, but I get in trouble with you sometimes.
I'm a little bit of a private person. All my business out on the interwebs.
All that weird stuff you're into that you got into in Iowa and you brought to Utah.
What's that?
Corn eating contest.
No way. I don't even really like corn.
Defending Iowa without any.
I do. I do have a lot of Iowa pride.
Yeah.
Midwestern pride.
Yeah.
Midwest is best. Maybe. Well, I do like the mountains a lot, so I can't really say that.
Sounds like someone who's never been out of the Midwest.
I definitely
love the gray skies of the winter and the iciness.
I love all seasons. There's, perks of all of that, you know?
I'm glad you just love places. It's great.
I do.
Let's get to some solutions.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear this, right? Let's get to some financial solutions here. Marquita wrote in and she says, my debt to income ratio is very close to 100%, if not already 100%. Should I do a debt consolidation loan and close those credit card accounts or keep paying the minimum payments? My longest running trade line would be closed if I do the debt consolidation. So what advice do you have for Marquita?
All right. So I have a few things. Number one, can you get an intra-family loan? Could you get a better interest rate and better payback terms and improve your credit report by having it paid off? That's not available for everybody.
Right.
But I just like to start with that. Then could you refinance anything and use equity to pay off other loans, right? And even stretch the loan and make it longer so that you actually improve your cash flow. Then you have time to create some savings. Then you have money to start investing in yourself. And I think sometimes having loans can create so much scarcity. It just feels like such a burden. It starts to almost be like obsessive and it feels like a weight and you're thinking about it far too often and it starts to blind people to value creation. It's just how it is.
Right. Yeah, because you can't show up fully who you are, and what you want to create in the world when you're stressed and you're worried about your financial situation.
Right. So there's a thing if you can, refinance a house or refinance a car or, do some of these things that, and with I don't know what consolidation service it is or what the impact would be on the credit report or anything like that. But if you have that equity in a car or if you could do a balance transfer to get a better, interest rate or payback terms, or if you have good enough credit to renegotiate interest rates and things like that. And if you don't have a good enough credit report, well, go out there and improve your report, correct errors, right? Apply for higher lines of credit so you have better utilization. So if you have a credit card that's maxed out at $5,000, see if you can get $10,000. Now you only used 50% of that, but you got to be careful that you don't go spend that money.
Yeah, it's easy to do. I have more money. I can go shopping.
Never borrow to consume.
Yes, that's great advice.
That's the rule. If you borrow, make sure it's creating cash flow or it's being invested back into your skill sets and abilities. All right, so can you maybe even look into the EIDLs, the emergency injury disaster loans, 3.75% for 30 years?
Yeah.
That could, and even deferred payments for a period of time. So it depends on whether you're a business owner or not, but that's something to look into.
So we're recording this episode at the end of May 2020.
Don't know when it's being released, but yeah.
Yes. So I'm just wondering, like, when people start listening to this, will there still be funds available for EIDL?
I got a call from KeyBank yesterday. Like, hey, do you want to apply? Because it's one of our accounts.
Interesting. They reached out to you.
I think there's more money that's come in because so many of the big corporations, especially publicly traded companies, had to return their money. A lot of the journalists went out there and they found these businesses that weren't really struggling and were taking the money anyway. So I do think that there's going to be money for a while, and it's something to definitely look into.
Okay, so it's not too late to apply.
There's trillions of dollars out there.
Yeah.
So that would be something to look at. Could you get a different loan and have that improve things? Could you use an installment loan to pay something off that would have been before a line of credit? Installment loans improve your credit score,
like a car loan.
Where a maxed out credit card can hurt your credit, right? So that's another thing. So I would try some of these things first. And so here's kind of an interesting strategy. And we're going to be doing a video on this and actually bring in Tim Carden, one of our money nerd extraordinaire, got the software and everything. But most of the time banks are kind of using your money, but there's one strategy where you can use banks' money without paying them. And it's that when we have credit cards that are brand new, you charge something today, you have 30 days before you have to pay that off or have any interest that's charged.
Yeah.
Right? At the same time, if you have a line of credit, like on a home or something, you can take your income and rather than, just pay cash for things, you could pay down that line of credit, charge everything on a card, and then pay off the card from the home equity line. So that way you're not paying interest for that 30 days. You're kind of floating the bank's money. It's called a HELOC buy down, home equity line of credit buy down. Other people call it velocity banking. It's been around for quite some time. It takes a little bit of discipline and some effort. There are a few risks to it as far as what if the bank lowers your line of credit after you pay it down, and then you needed that money to go pay off the credit card. So you got to be mindful of some of those things. But those are a few examples to look at in addition to or before jumping into consolidation.
Okay.
All right. So
I like it.
Now you have ways to turn your thoughts into profits, build the life you love, and go to askthemoneynerds.com. Ask your question. We'll bring the answers, and we'll put it on YouTube and on our podcast. Thanks, Tolba.